Harper Audio presents Mississippi Blood, a novel, by Greg Iles, performed by Scott Brick. For the truth is a terrible thing. You dabble your foot in it, and it is nothing. But you walk a little farther, and you feel it pull you, like an undertow or a whirlpool. First there is the slow pull so steady and gradual you scarcely notice it. Then the acceleration, then the dizzy whirl and plunge into darkness. For there is a blackness of truth, too. They say it is a terrible thing to fall into the grace of God. I am prepared to believe that. Robert Penn Warren, All the King's Men. Prologue. Grief is the most solitary emotion. It makes islands of us all. I've spent a lot of time visiting graves over the past few weeks, sometimes with Annie, but mostly alone. The people who see me there give me a wide berth. I'm not sure why. For 30 miles around, almost everyone knows me. Penn Cage, the mayor of Natchez, Mississippi. When they avoid me, waving from a distance if at all, then hurrying on their way, I sometimes wonder if I have taken on the mantle of death. Jewel Washington, the county coroner and a true friend, pulled me aside in City Hall last week and told me I look like living proof that ghosts exist. Maybe they do. Since Caitlin died, I have felt like nothing more than the ghost of myself. Perhaps that's why I spend so much time visiting graves. Henry Sexton is buried in a small churchyard in Faraday, his tilted stone exposed to the cold wind that blasts over the Louisiana Delta fields. The simple marker displays the usual census information. Below this is his chosen epitaph, discovered in one of his journals. Wish I didn't know now what I didn't know then. Typical of Henry to choose a line from a Bob Seger song. Underneath this lament for lost innocence are 6 words chiseled by the black folks who attend this saltbox church and who keep the grave of this white journalist trimmed to perfection. Wasn't that a man? Muddy Waters. Enough said. Caitlin's grave stands in the Natchez City Cemetery, in the flat square below Jewish Hill, not far from the Turning Angel. Her stone is white Alabama marble, tall and thin and strong, just as she was. Her mother wanted her buried up north, but her father persuaded the family that since Caitlin had intended to marry and raise her family in Mississippi, then here she should remain. I chose her epitaph, a line she often quoted and attributed to Ayn Rand. The question isn't who's going to let me, it's who's going to stop me. Rand never actually said that. The line seems to be a paraphrase from a conversation Howard Rourke had in the Fountainhead. Nevertheless, it sums up Caitlin's approach to life and work about as well as anything could. A few people have asked me if that epitaph is appropriate, given that Caitlin was murdered as a consequence of her reckless pursuit of a gang of killers. I tell them I was never a fan of Ayn Rand, but the old hypocrite got that one right. And if there was a moral or lesson in Caitlin's death, I'm too thick to see it. If you want to make sense of this world, don't come to me for answers. I'm fresh out. I stand on the high bluff over the river most every day, trying and failing to piece my life back together as winter changes to spring and my father's murder trial approaches. Dad's being held in protective custody in Louisiana by the FBI. He wasn't allowed to cross into Mississippi to attend Caitlin's funeral. I'm told he beat his arthritic hands against the bars of his cell when he got word that Sheriff Billy Byrd would jail him in Natchez if he crossed the river. Beat them until he broke some bones in his right wrist. I don't know for
Sample complete. Ready to continue?